Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to talk about how I started my small business in 2020, so 5 years ago. I started from my childhood bedroom with no experience, very little money and a lot of anxious thoughts. I didn't think anything about it back then, but starting that business changed my life to where it is today, as cheesy as that sounds. The whole world had just gone into lockdown, so nobody had anything to do. I remember feeling kind of useless because the first couple days of doing nothing were kind of fun, but I didn't want to do that for weeks on end, and back then we also didn't know yet how long this lockdown would last. I think the first one ended up lasting 1 or 2 months. I was 17 when I made the Instagram account for the business. Back then I didn't even think it was a business. And fun fact, I came up with my business name by scrolling through my Spotify playlists. You can guess which song title I took inspiration from. I didn't have a lot of inspiration, but I knew that I didn't want it to be something like Inya's jewelry. Small businesses were just becoming kind of trendy. There were probably already a lot of small businesses, but you just didn't really see them on social media. It was also a different time for social media, even though it's only 5 years ago. But I saw them appearing more and more on Instagram and TikTok. I think I always had this business feeling kind of inside of me though. When I was little, I used to love the process of preparing for a vintage market or a garage sale, pricing the items that we were gonna sell, laying them all out on a table and hoping we would get customers. I loved it. And in the phase of my life where I was 17, I loved experimenting with different styles of clothes and accessories. You could definitely tell from my Instagram posts back then. I posted a lot. But I wasn't going to start a clothing brand or anything like that because, like I said, I didn't have any budget. And then I thought jewelry isn't that expensive to make because I can just buy a couple of beads. And it had just been my birthday and my grandma always gives me like a little envelope with some cash inside. So I had this tiny budget of 100 euros. Also, the reason why I didn't have any money was because I hadn't had a job until that point of my life where I started a business. And I know that may sound kind of privileged. I just had a lot of social anxiety, so every time I thought about it, I panicked a little. Being my own boss was my best scenario. So I opened that Instagram account and now I had to buy my first items. I had to make the best out of my budget. I ordered some beads, pearls, earring hooks, wire, pliers for the wire, and like some necklace essentials, just those extension chains and those clasps. I got it all from a local shop and then I got started. My first designs actually weren't that bad when I look back at them. I'll insert a couple of pictures here. I think when you scroll down on my business Instagram, you can even find my first posts, or maybe I deleted it, I'm not sure. But I don't think so. And then the moment of my first ever sale. That one came in after about 2 weeks of posting on the Instagram account. I also didn't have any other social media back then. And I had also reached out to a couple of influencers. They weren't really influencers, just people with a bit more reach than average. I feel like back then there were only big influencers, because now we have lots of small content creators who have maybe 5k followers but a very engaged audience. Maybe Europe was different than America, but at least in my memories there weren't really people like that 5 years ago. But I did sell some items to those people with just more followers than average. And it really wasn't a lot. It was maybe 1 pair of earrings and 1 necklace that I sent them. But also nothing came out of that, so I'm glad I didn't send them too much. I just didn't know any better back then. After that first sale, I don't think sales came in quickly. Maybe 1 every couple days. But that's also because I was boosting my Instagram posts so more people would see them. So I just clicked on the little boost icon when you post on Instagram, and then I paid maybe a couple euros per day. And at this point I was still selling through Instagram DMs, so I didn't have a website or anything like that. Maybe that's also why some people didn't really trust it. People would just DM me, then I would send them my bank transfer details, they would transfer me the money and I would send them the package. I don't think that there's a lot of small businesses that still do that now, because I feel like making a webshop is much more accessible now. Up until now it may seem like everything went kind of smooth, like in the beginning you always have to struggle a little bit, but I did make some mistakes in my first year. I was constantly doubting myself and I was kind of scared that people would find out the business was mine. Kind of like with YouTube, it's kind of embarrassing until you succeed. But yeah, I would never show my face on my socials because I was scared that people would start making fun of me. I was also contacted by kind of a big influencer in Belgium where I live. At that moment she had like 150k followers. Now she has almost 1 million, but I was very excited. So I sent her a package with about 100 euros worth of jewelry. And guess what? She just ghosted me. So I have definitely learned my lesson to always make a contract when you're doing collaborations. Another mistake I made was manufacturing 200 rings without asking my audience if they would actually want them or actually purchase them. Yes, I still have 190 of those rings laying around here, so I haven't done that anymore. But then we fast forward a couple of months and Adore Jewelry had finally become a real business. Because after all of those anxious thoughts, I finally started showing my face on social media. And that's when my videos started going viral. It was also peak TikTok times, so that's also why. But people want to buy from people, not from a random faceless business. I also made my first ever web shop. The platform that I made it on wasn't that good, so after that I tried 3 other ones and now I am with Shopify and I'm very happy with them. And also one big moment when I started feeling like a real business was when I started building kind of a community. People started sharing orders to their stories. I would get kind DMs. People would start ordering for birthdays or Christmas gifts. It's still surreal to me that people actually gift my jewelry to other people. And these are the things that keep me going, even when sales are slower or when I'm just having a harder time. And now we're in 2025, so my small business has turned 5 this year. I actually do have a strategy now. Surprise, surprise. I still wouldn't say I know exactly what I'm doing, but it's getting better and better. And I'm very proud of myself for not giving up after all of these years, because let me be honest, there were times when I thought I would go bankrupt when making a big financial decision, or times where I cried every day. That last one is still kind of a challenge though, but I think this video proved that you don't need to know everything before you start. You can just learn it along the way. Don't be like me though, have a little bit of a strategy before you start. That will just make everything way easier. Also, don't be afraid of quitting. Some people might not start their business because they're afraid of quitting, but you can always quit after a month, after a year, after a couple of years. So if you also want to start your own small business, just start. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments and I will try to answer all of them the best I can. If you like this video, make sure to leave a little like and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!